In this week's episode, we're taking you behind the scenes, letting you know a little about what we've been working on and answering some of your burning questions.
Welcome back to another episode of JFDI with the two Lauras. This is the weekly show where we're here every single Tuesday to talk to you, the freelance social media marketers, about all sorts of things, from running your business, winning clients, firing clients, making money, marketing, all sorts of things. And as Laura's just said, we are today going behind the scenes in our own business, talking about some things that we've been working on for quite some time, some of which you may have heard of, all of which are going to have a massive impact on your business. And we're really, really excited about this episode. I do need to start this episode with a little caveat, little warning to let you know that I've got my crazy dog in the room with me today recording. She is fast asleep and I felt really bad moving her out of here, but she is a bit of a barker. So if she does bark, hopefully we can edit it out. Otherwise, sorry, you're just going to have to listen to her. She's quite cute.
We've also got Laura's got a shopping delivery due and I've got a courier delivering something. So this could be the most interrupted podcast.
Yeah,
ever.
So enjoy. Hopefully it'll all go without hitch, but we'll see.
Yeah. So to set the scene, we are recording this having just got through the summer holidays.
Yeah. Can I just say, with that in mind, you look pretty good today.
Yeah, thanks.
I can't see any more wrinkles or anything.
No, but there definitely is. Wrinkles on the brain, maybe. Those of you who don't know, Laura and I have both got children. There's 4 between us. And for hugely, vastly varying different reasons, children that don't seem to do holiday clubs for one reason or another. So we get through the summer. Well, I think that's it. We get through, don't we? We muddle along, both wanting to work at the same pace and level that we always do. So by the end of the summer, we're frustrated, I think is a good term. Like last week,
they went
I
back
was like
yesterday, and I feel like we need like some sort of round of applause sound effect on this podcast that we made it. And if you're in the same shoes as we are and you've made it, well done to you too.
Yeah, I felt like it was hard this year. Anyway, that maybe that's a whole separate podcast. So, yeah, we have been busy. And one of the reasons we've been really busy is because when Laura and I get our teeth stuck into something, everything around us that kind of delays us or stops us being able to kind of hit it full force frustrates us. And I think it's fair to say that probably surmises a lot of our summer, because we've been working on something very exciting.
Yeah. We are the sort of people, though, aren't we, that when we start a project, we just want to get it done. We're very much JFDI. And if we can't get it done, well, I'm slightly different to you, but if I start something and I can't finish it, that's it. I never get it finished. So I have to keep going, because if I have a break, I am not going back to it. But we're very much like, we have to get stuff done. Otherwise, it just falls by the wayside, never to be seen again.
Yeah, we lose momentum, and once we lose momentum, we find it very difficult to get that momentum again. So we know that we have to just keep going, and that's why I think the summer felt so hard, because there were things that were getting in our way, and we knew we couldn't let it affect the momentum, because we knew that we have to it's when we do our best work when we have that kind of level of kind of pressure. But I think, well, I certainly felt like the end of the summer, I thought it was like breaking point. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But then, like, literally,
I have drunk so much Diet Coke.
Well, yesterday it was like the kids went back, and it was like this level of calm. I just ticked some little things off that I wanted to do. Yeah, was able to think with a bit of clarity. Didn't have to get up every 5 minutes to find snacks. It's just the calm that you're able to kind of think. And I was able to kind of make more decisions, albeit nothing major. I just felt like I could get my brain fully, no, that's a lie. It's never fully functioning, like back to maybe 80%.
Yeah. Nice. I feel like we've kind of talked about how hard we've been working and how much we're frustrated about not being able to do what we're doing, but we haven't really told anyone what we've been working on.
No. Go on
So
then.
do you think we should do that? So unless you've had your head buried under a rock,
which
you
is
probably
quite
know.
possible.
Well, yeah, possible, yeah. Laura and I have been working on a new online platform for social media marketers, for freelancers, and it's called Hubsy. And we've been working on it for quite a long time. And over the summer, it's we're now at that point where it's nearly ready, which is why we got frustrated and why we were like, oh, come on, we're nearly there. But this is something that's been on our minds for flipping years. Probably our first conversation about this was maybe when we first got together in 2019. Such a long time.
Yeah. Like building, delivering a software is, well, it's not easy. So when we've had these conversations in the years gone by, we're like, yeah, well, that sounds like we've come up with plenty of ideas and we've been like, well, yeah, that sounds great, but it's got a kind of cost prohibitive, or it just wasn't worth it, like because of that, or
we just didn't have a clue how to even get started.
Yeah, we didn't have the time either. We had got the toolkit, we've got the membership, which take up a lot of our time. And we're always improving things. We're always working on things. So it's never like, oh, look, there's the toolkit, that's done. Like everything we've ever created, we update, change, renew, make it better. So finding the right time to be able to kind of invest in something like this has been probably one of the biggest challenges, really. So it's something that we've always wanted to do, but for all those reasons that we've mentioned, it's never been the right time for us or for the kind of business. But now felt like we could do it. Like we had the time, we had the money to be able to invest. And although based on everything we've just said, I bet people are listening thinking, oh, it doesn't sound like you got the time.
True.
But we've got the time and the money to be able to invest. And one of the reasons why we wanted to develop this is we are often, particularly in the membership, but sometimes within like the toolkit community and just wider products that we sell, we tell people like, you should be doing this in your business, you should be doing that. And people are like, yeah, brilliant. Okay, so what tools do I need to use to be able to do that? So then, and this, to be fair, is more Laura, because Laura chucks herself into these tools and learns how to do them and is able to then go to these people, no, don't use that, use this, or don't use that, use this. And then we end up with a community of people using a huge amount of different tools that we know some things about. We know a lot of things about some of them, a little bit about others. We've never used them at all. And that becomes very difficult for us. Like we want everybody to do the things that we're telling them to do. And then obviously the tech side is what people struggle with, but we can't be experts in every single piece of tool and system out there that freelance social media managers need. We can't be. So it became really difficult for us because we could see that it was becoming hard for our audience, for our members to take action. We couldn't really help, but we'd always try. But so then that became a block, and then they weren't achieving the things because they couldn't figure out the tech, or the tech was too costly and they couldn't afford to do it, or various reasons. So we were like, God, it would be just so much easier if we could just provide that one tool that everybody can use. We become the experts in that tool, so we can literally help people from that idea to that motivation and encouragement to do it, but then right through to the actual development and delivery and everything beyond. So that's been a huge driver, I think. And although this is something that we've wanted to do forever, I think now is the best time for us to do it because of how much everything else we've built leans into this, and so it all works. It's going to be really, it's going to be everything that everybody needs, and we've already got that kind of support and membership structure that enables people to fully benefit.
Yeah, I just want to talk about like some of the tools over the years. Like I am a bit of a weirdo. I like to go and try all the different tools. And I
Press the buttons.
like Laura and I will always recommend tools that we think are really, really good. And over the years, we have recommended so many that we do believe in, but they've always been like, there's always been something that's been like, oh, I wish it did this, or I wish it just linked natively to this tool. I wish it was cheaper, or I wish it was just easier for somebody to use this but when they're already using this other thing. And there was always like some niggly part, and someone would always ask us a question, and we'd be like, I know, that's our frustration too. And so it gets to the point where you're like, oh God, I just wish we could solve this problem. And so we'd be like, oh, I wish we could create an email marketing tool because, like, you know, we'd want it to link with this thing. Oh, I wish we could have a checkout system that could automatically link with your website without you having to use a Zap. And like all of these things. And then we'd get to the point where we're like, yeah, we can't do all of those things. And in the end, we were like, well, hang on a minute. Why can't we do all of those things? Like, if we've got the money and the time and the resources and we can find the people who can help us to do all of these things to make things easier and better and faster and cheaper and like less tech headaches for everyone else, why can't we do that? And probably a lot of it was our own mindset of not thinking, well, you know, like, who are we to do that? Because, you know, most people are like, well, I come from a coding background, or I've worked in software all my life and all of this stuff. And we don't have that background, but we do have the background and the knowledge of knowing how people would use these tools in their daily life when they work in social media marketing. And I think that's really important because you know all of the kind of things that you come up against and the issues that you face, and we wanted to solve them. And I feel like we have solved a lot of them.
Yeah. Like, it ticks so many boxes. Honestly, I can't wait for everybody to get in there and use it and see it, and because it ticks so many boxes and just will make, you know, like one thing I've always hated, and I'm like, Laura's the techie one, she's head of tech, but I consider myself, although if I have to blank Laura out when I say this, I consider myself fairly techie, but I am someone who I have to press the buttons. I have to go and play around with it. I can't learn by just watching. And so I'm not a complete technophobe, but I get so frustrated with having to use loads of different tools.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a scheduler here, you've got like email here, then you've got to do, you know, Zapier to get your Facebook ad, you know, everything just gets really muddled. And I find, mainly because I forget what does what and where I've got to go, and you've got to log into everything, or the bloody passwords for everything. You know, it just feels very cumbersome, and simple tasks just take so much longer.
And how many times do you have to go and get the authenticator app to go and like log into every single bloody tab? It's so annoying.
Yeah. So this is exactly what I will have needed. And I'm annoyed that we weren't around back when we started.
If we'd have had a tool like this when we very first started as freelancers, it would have been game-changing. But equally, when you and I joined forces in 2019, it would have changed everything for us that way as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so no matter whether we were like first starting out as freelancers or we were like a few years down the line and like scaling up and helping more people, this is kind of designed to help at all of those stages.
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't, in theory, outgrow it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it depends where you go with your business, but if you remain freelancers, and it will work, obviously, it's very much positioned so far for social media managers because some of the templates and resources that we've put in there, but it will work for any freelancer, quite frankly. So if your offer changes over time.
And even if you don't offer freelance services in the traditional sense, as in you're doing some sort of management service for somebody, if you are self-employed and you are offering communities, digital products, courses, even like audio lesson, like anything like that, as well as management services or, you know, power hours, consultancy, anything where you've got to take a payment, where you've got to send an email, where you maybe need a calendar, all of those things, or you want to deliver something online, this will cover all of that. And there's very few tools that you're going to need on top of it. one of which would be something like Zoom or Google Meet. You're probably going to need a domain name, but there's very few other things you're going to need. So you can just get rid of loads of stuff. In fact, should we talk about some of the things that you could get rid of?
Yeah.
So you could definitely get rid of your email marketing tools. So maybe you're using, actually MailerLite is a good one to highlight, because I know they've recently reduced how many subscribers you can have in MailerLite. You used to be able to have 1,000, I think, for free, and they're reducing it down to 500.
500, yeah.
So you could get rid of MailerLite. There won't be a limit in Hubsy on how many subscribers you can have when we first launch. So that's one thing you could get rid of. Or any other email marketing platform, ActiveCampaign, whatever it is you're using, get rid of those. We have got a social media scheduler in there, so you can schedule all of your content, all of your clients' content for any platform. So that's perfect.
Calendly, you won't need to be able to book
Acuity,
your
if you use
discovery
that
calls,
instead.
power hours, all of those things, that you can get rid of that.
Yeah. You can get rid of things like Zapier, because you won't need to link to other things. So you'll be able to do all of your automations inside Hubsy, so you won't need to worry about any of that. You'll also be able to host, if you're delivering online products, so courses, template packs, masterclasses, anything like that, that's like a video recording maybe, or like a text-based resource, a PDF. You could do all of that in there. So you can get rid of tools like Standstore, Kajabi. Can't think of any other ones off the top of my head, but you can get rid of all of those.
You also will be able to take your payments through it. So you don't need Thrivecart or any other cart, really. It will all be done within Hubsy.
Yeah, you'll be able to build your website and your funnel pages. So you won't need things like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, any of those things. You also won't need anything like ClickFunnels or lead pages if you were using anything like that to kind of build those lead kind of pages. It's got forms built into it, so you can easily whack them onto your website to get people to sign up for a lead magnet. You can even host your lead magnet in Hubsy. So if it was a video, you could host it in like a mini course kind of thing. If it's a PDF, you can just whack it into your media library. You can put it into an email. Everything is so easy. So you don't need loads of other tools. Honestly, I cannot wait for people to start using this.
It's very exciting.
It is. So I think we've covered a lot of what Hubsy is, but we have definitely had some questions that we can answer. And we said at the beginning of the podcast, we were going to answer your questions. So a couple of questions that have come in, which I think are really good questions to answer and make sure you really kind of understand. One of them is probably more specifically for if you're UK based. So the UK is bringing in a thing called Making Tax Digital, and people have asked whether this will allow them to do that. I mean, snore.
Can't wait.
But yes, it will. You'll be able to integrate with Xero or QuickBooks. If you're using one of those tools, you can easily integrate and be able to make your tax digital when that comes into place. But equally, if you're not in the UK and you still want to integrate with QuickBooks and Xero, you can do that. We've been asked, is it only for social media managers? And I think when we're talking about Hubsy, we are very much talking about it from a this is for social media managers perspective, because you know how important it is to have really specific messaging. So our messaging has to be specific. You know what I mean? It has to be very specific. And we've created it and created our messaging to be specifically for social media managers, because that's our background. That's who most of our audience are. And when we're very first launching, we're putting things in there that are very specifically created for social media managers. So automated workflows, sales pages, funnel pages, all of these things that are very specific to social media managers in how we've created them. But all of them can be adapted to suit any type of freelancer. So whether you are an ads manager, whether you don't even manage and you just maybe teach people about Instagram, maybe you mostly do email marketing, maybe you're a VA, it will still work for all of you, but our messaging has to be specific because that's how you market a business. Yeah. So we are talking to social media managers, but it's suitable for everyone else, no matter what kind of freelancer you are.
Yeah, if you're thinking, I love the sound of this, is it going to work for me? To drop me us a message, because we'll happily answer.
Definitely. We were also asked, can people put their team into Hubsy? So if you're the sort of person who you're really busy running the business, but maybe you've got a VA or a web developer or what have you, and you don't want to go and do any of the kind of admin-y, techie side, Hubsy isn't massively overly techy, and we have done a lot of it for you. But if you do want a team member in there to kind of go and set up what you need, you absolutely can add your team members. You can give them access to whatever it is they need access to, take away access from everything it is that you don't want them to have access to. And you can, they can go and do whatever it is that they need to do. And then 2 other questions that we keep getting asked all the time are, how much will it cost and when will it be ready? So let's cover the cost one first by saying we can't actually tell you that yet. And I know that's a really annoying answer.
Yeah.
Sorry. The maths has still got to be mathed. But what we can tell you is that if you are an existing Inner Hub member, you will get first access and you will get low rates. If you're not an existing Inner Hub member, but you want first access and you want low rates, then I would tell you to come and get into the Inner Hub ASAP. We'll make sure that the link is in the show notes, but you can go to the 2lauras.com/Inner Hub to be able to get straight in there. If you're on the waiting list for Hubsy, you will be like the next lot of people to come in, and you will also have great rates. So if you want to get on the waiting list, then you can do that. We'll put the link for that in the show notes. And when it comes to cost, we want to make it clear that at least when we very first launch, and at least for the foreseeable future, Hubsy will be part of the Inner Hub membership. It will not be available separately. So you will have to be a member to get access to Hubsy. They won't be sold separately. And in terms of when it will be ready...
Just to add to that the reason, in terms of it being part of the Inner Hub, it's a good thing, because what you're going to be getting is this tool, but then you're also going to be getting all the support in your business, all the other deliverables that are within the Inner Hub. You're going to get your directory listing, you're going to get leads that are shared, you're going to get masterclasses, Q&A time. So it literally is that all-in-one package, because now you're going to get the tech with it.
I feel like a lot of tools, they're like, here you go, here's your tool. And maybe they give you some training on how to use the tool, as in like press this button, but they don't give you the support and training to actually make money from that tool, which is what we do in the Inner Hub.
Yeah.
So it will end up being that the Inner Hub and Hubsy are not an expense, because you're making money from using both of those things, which obviously is a massive benefit. But in terms of when it'll be ready... Drum roll. I'm going to give you a date. Are you ready? Laura's about to panic. In the autumn.
Say, Jesus Christ, I was like, oh God.
We've been saying the autumn for ages, and somebody said to us the other day, when does the autumn start? So we Googled it, and I think it was something like 22nd of September.
Yeah, 22nd of September is when the autumn starts. So that's not necessarily. And then actually, when does it end?
Yeah,
December.
I'm going with December.
Hang on, when
we are working as quickly as we possibly can, I promise you. Behind the scenes, like Laura, I feel like we're like on a treadmill, just constantly doing stuff, constantly asking people like answers for questions that we've got. Oh God, she's coming back with a date. Go on.
Honestly,
how long have we got?
Every day is a school day. Winter doesn't actually start until December the 21st.
Wow.
So we have got ages, Laura. We can kick back.
Perfect. Excellent. Let's go on holiday.
No, it would definitely be before then.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Well, if something's gone very wrong, if we're still on the 21st of December and it's not out there.
Oh God, could you imagine? But yeah, we're going to open to Inner Hub members first, then waitlist people. So if you're either of those people, you will definitely have it before the 21st of December. Public launch may not even be this year. We haven't planned that yet. We haven't had time to plan that yet.
We want to make sure we pace it so everybody gets in there comfortably, knows what they're doing. We need to be present, so we've got support people in there. The last thing we need is to be rushed and people like not have that kind of onboarding that we would want. So Inner Hub people priority. So as Laura, just to reiterate, you can join now. We have opened the Inner Hub. It's the first time ever that the Inner Hub is just open, which is weird, just so people can have the opportunity. If you want to, if Hubsy sounds like the thing you want, then get in the Inner Hub now. Then after that, if you don't want to join the Inner Hub yet and get the best rate, which I don't really understand why you wouldn't.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, then we will go to the waitlist people after that. But the Inner Hub people will get the best rate. So it makes no sense to be on the wait list and then not in the Inner Hub now, is my personal opinion. But obviously I would say that.
Yeah, and I think also, like when you were just talking about we want to get people in, like provide support and stuff, how often do you know the people who've created the software that you're using? Probably not very often. So I would really hope that it's a benefit to you that you kind of, you know us, and you know that you can ask us questions. And if there's something you're stuck on, then you can ask us. If there's something that you want in there, then you can ask us. Whether we can provide it or not, obviously, who knows? But we are very much open to ideas. We're open to helping you directly. At some point, maybe we will have other people who are helping us with the support. But to start with, it's going to be the two of us. So yeah, it will be us who you're going to ask questions to, and we can, guide you on the right resources. And it's not just, what button do I press in Hubsy? Like, of course, we're going to answer those questions, but it's also going to be, how can I make money from doing this? Or, why is this thing not converting? Can I write this any better on this sales page? All of those things we are totally down to help you with. So, if you're in the Inner Hub and you want help with any part of your business, that's what we're there for. And it's only going to get even more when Hubsy launches. So, I can't wait.
It just sounds amazing, doesn't it?
I mean, you could sound a bit more enthusiastic, but yeah.
I don't know, I was just like quite overcome by...
Overwhelmed by our genius. Love it. There we go. If you have got questions about Hubsy or the Inner Hub or anything else, then come and find us. We're always on Instagram hanging out, as you know. Drop us a DM. We're at the Two Lauras over there. You'll see also the link in the show notes. But yeah, come and chat. Ask us anything. Make sure your name is either on the waiting list or that you're in the Inner Hub. And we'll look forward to revealing everything very soon.
Yeah. Eek. All right, well, hopefully we'll see you in the Inner Hub.
Yeah, if not, we'll be back in your ears, same time, same place next week. Ta-ra!
Bye.